From Studio 3 at Buzz TV, it's The Horse's Mouth with Tom McManus.
Welcome to Game Changers. I'm your host, Chris Budahaas, and today we have an illustrious group here at the bar. But before we get that, let's talk about who our sponsor is. It is All Drive Services of Southeast Jacksonville. Joining me here at the bar today, we got Dan Mayville with Top Built Teams, Joe Muskus with Rising Tide Sales Consulting LLC, and Branden Barkema, all right, with EOS World. Gentlemen, how are you? Man, that was a mouthful. Might have to hit more of this alcohol over here. Wow. So Dan, I guess we'll start with you. So tell us, why are you here? What are we going to talk about?
So we thought we'd come in today and share a new venture that we're all collaborating on. The three of us are going to work on delivering a workshop series for small business owners, help them wrestle with the structure, the processes, the people issues that are probably slowing down their growth.
Okay.
So the name of the series is Traction Builders.
Yeah.
And the idea is for us to deliver it, leveraging Branden and his EOS framework. And we could talk about that, but we'll deliver that in monthly installments in person here in Jacksonville.
In person. Okay.
Yep.
How long, how many installments are you going to do, or what's planned?
Yeah, because we're using the EOS framework, we're going to go once a month and focus on one of their key components in each month. So the first session will focus on vision.
Yeah.
We'll deliver that here middle of July.
So EOS, Gino Wickham.
Yeah. Wickman. Right.
Wickman, there you go.
Yeah. All good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stands for the entrepreneurial operating system. And I think, as Dan mentioned, it makes sense for a lot of different reasons for us to collaborate around that, because the framework exists. There's 6 key components, like Dan said, and we can do one each month.
Yeah. That's excellent. And then how did you all get together? Like, how did this crew come together?
Sure. Yeah. Just networking around town. We were all running into each other at the same events. And, in all of our talking to each other, we really found great synergy between how we help our clients and just the systems that we put in place. Right. So it kind of made sense when we saw the synergy between the three of us that, we could probably help.
Did you see all three in the same space, or was it a little bit of overlap, like a Venn diagram where you got a little bit of overlap, but you bring a little bit more than say Branden does and Dan does, or
it's almost exact overlap. Yeah. From the ideal client that we would work with, from whether it be revenue size or personnel size or however that is, it's pretty synergetic.
Yeah. So Branden, what's like the biggest pain points you're seeing with these small businesses?
Well, it's a great question. And it's a loaded question, as you can imagine. But I think what we run into a lot of the times is some combination of kind of these two things. We've got businesses and business owners that want to grow.
Yeah.
They've had some success and want to do more of that. They're not necessarily sure how to do that the most effective way. Yeah. And then another thing that I feel like we see a lot is there's businesses that are stuck, right? And so they're trying to break through that ceiling and do things differently and maybe don't know where to start or have the resources to do it.
Yeah. And so Dan, what's your focus? Is it small, medium, large companies, or just anybody?
No, I think it's really primarily focused on stage 2 companies.
Stage 2. Okay.
And because you can have a little bit of early success but if you really want to get that business up and running and scaling, then for me, because I focus right people, right seats, then I want to make sure that you're able to kind of scale and disseminate information in a more effective way, manage performance and align that. But I think that was the other common thread is most of our focus is on those stage 2 clients that are really trying to turn what they have into something bigger.
So Joe, and you guys kind of think about it, I know you guys are strategic thinkers, what's success look like for this group of folks at the end of that webinar? What does that look like?
Yeah. For the most part, we want people to be able to walk away with something tangible out of each series. Yeah. So each month, walk away with something that they can take from the workshop and apply into their business immediately. So really, we're focused around, hopefully around 20 to 30 businesses. We want to keep it somewhat smaller so that we can be most effective.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So if we can help that many businesses or even half of those get to a better place, then that's success for me.
That's great. And Brandon, so what's the location? How do people sign up?
Yeah, well, we've got an Eventbrite communication that will go out soon, but we're going to host it at University of North Florida at the University Center. Okay. Yeah, centrally located, great place.
First class location.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So what's next? Like, what's after this? Have you guys thought that far, or just?
Oh, we actually thought that, you know, if this is as successful as we think it will be, you know, even in a 3-hour series on each one of these pieces, we're going to just be barely scraping the surface. So in our mind, we think this could be something that, you know, every 6 months, every few months, we'll start again and do it for 6 months.
Well, I got to imagine. So Greg ran over Jacksonville Smart Emerging Business says that there's somewhere between, you know, depends, like 20 to 30,000 small businesses in this area. And the demand's going to go up with another 500,000 to 700,000 people moving here in Jacksonville. So I can imagine, like, with you guys being positioned here doing this, that your value proposition for a business, their investment in time and money, they're going to see, you know, they're going to at least, you know, they're going to exit multiple numerations. So that's huge.
Well, especially with the initiatives for Jacksonville to kind of be that hub for, you know, small and mid-sized emerging businesses.
Yeah. So what's the day we're going to start? Is that to be announced?
Shooting for July 18th, and it will be announced, but that's what we've got dialed in right now.
Okay, great. And small fee, high payoff, I imagine.
Yes, absolutely. Just a little bit to cover some of our costs, but again, I think the point there is we want to bring value, and that's what's most important to us. We want them to walk out with something they can apply, like Joe was saying.
Okay, awesome. So I'll go down the horn. How do people find you, and how do they find your other business that you have? So go ahead.
Yeah, Top Hill Teams has its own website, www.tophillteams.com. And my focus is right people, right seats, and how do you really leverage people to solve business problems.
Okay, great. Okay.
Yeah. EOSworldwide.com/Branden-Barkema. That's my personal site.
Okay.
You know, EOS, at the end of the day, a proven systematic way to plan, manage, and grow your business.
Yeah. No, excellent. And Jeff?
Yeah. And business is Rising Tide Sales Consulting, but I'm also a sales acceleration advisor. So best place to find me is my LinkedIn page, Joe Muskus. But that's, if you need help with your sales and the process to make something consistent and repeatable, that's what I do.
Well, gentlemen, I'm excited. This is great. I mean, it's not lost on me. The first thing you said, like, we met through networking. That is so powerful, right? I had a former colonel who just retired. He didn't have a LinkedIn page, but week before he retired. And I said, "You don't have a LinkedIn page?" He goes, "Does it matter? It's social media." I said, "I don't think it's social media. I mean, it might be some form of social media. Is it important? Probably your family and friends, no, but the rest of the world, they don't know who you are." And he's come back to me and he's like, "Man, I wish I'd have started this years ago." So the fact that you guys met through networking is not lost on me at all. So thanks for what you guys are doing for your, number one, service to the nation. Number two, thanks for what you're doing for our community. I'm excited to see where you guys go, and
thanks for
all your success. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah. Happy 4th of July.
Yeah.
All right, folks, take a look at everybody. I'm not going to repeat everybody's name in business, but take a look at our show notes and reach out to them and see what's going on, and be on the lookout for this great opportunity. If you don't get in the first, make the first cut with the first 30 or so companies, it's going to be repeated, I guarantee you. So great place to live here in Jacksonville. And who knows, they probably go nationwide here in the next year or two. So be on the lookout for all these great things that are happening here. So we'll see you in the next segment. A little gratitude.
My name is Todd Marshall, and I own All Dry Services of Southeast Jacksonville. We serve all of Northeast Florida. Every day our business is doing the more mundane, but yet sometimes catastrophic issues. These can be plumbing leaks, they can be sewage backups. A bathtub overflows, somebody leaves the sink running. So we have a 24/7 response. If you call us, you're going to get a live person, and you try to get out there as quick as possible so that we can minimize the damage.